Kicking off our countdown at number 5. For this one, we're headed to Rua, Zimbabwe, back in 1994. And the scene isn't some secret military base. Nope, it's an elementary school playground. And that's what makes this one of the most unique and frankly compelling mass witness cases on the books.
Get this, over 60 school children saw a disc-like craft land near their school. Now, when they were all interviewed separately, their stories were just incredibly consistent. They drew pictures, described humanoid beings, and even said they got these telepathic warnings about what we're doing to the environment. And the crucial part? Extensive psychological evaluations were done, and the conclusion was that these kids were absolutely not making it up.
All right, for number 4, we're jumping from that schoolyard in Zimbabwe all the way to a dark, spooky forest in the UK. And this case moves us beyond just what people saw and into the world of tangible, physical evidence. This is the famous Rendlesham Forest incident, and the location alone adds a whole new level of seriousness, because this forest is right next to 2 US Air Force bases. That means the main witnesses weren't just random people. These were highly trained members of the US military. On duty. That changes things, right?
So, the Air Force personnel who went out to investigate reported a direct, up-close encounter with this glowing triangular metallic craft. But here's the kicker. They documented actual physical evidence right there at the scene. We're talking abnormal radiation traces in the soil and indentations in the ground where something heavy had clearly landed. Coming in at number 3, and believe me, the scale here just explodes. We're moving from a few people in a forest to a massive event that was witnessed by an entire city. We're in Arizona, 1997. Thousands upon thousands of people all across the state, and especially in Phoenix, look up at the night sky and they see a colossal V-shaped craft, totally silent, just drifting slowly and low right over their heads. For hours. I mean, the sheer scale of this mass sighting is just staggering. At first, the official story was, oh, it's just military flares. But then, years later, the governor at the time, Fife Symington, comes clean. He not only admitted he saw the craft himself, but he gave this incredible quote, calling it otherworldly. And that, right there, is the peak of our evidence pyramid, direct, high-level political corroboration.
All right, our runner-up, number 2. This one is probably the most famous UFO incident of the 21st century, and for a very good reason. It's not just defined by elite military witnesses, but by declassified, hard censor data that was released by the government itself. This is the USS Nimitz encounter. Back in 2004, a US Navy carrier strike group spent weeks tracking multiple strange, anomalous objects. So they sent up their best pilots, guys like Commander David Fravor, to check it out. They came face to face with this weird, 40-foot-long white object they nicknamed the Tic Tac. This quote from the official Pentagon reports pretty much says it all. The object pulled off maneuvers that are just impossible for any aircraft we know of, like instantaneous acceleration and hypersonic speeds with no wings, no exhaust, no visible propulsion. And this isn't just a pilot's story. It's all backed up by radar data and that now infamous declassified FLIR camera footage that the Pentagon itself released. And here we are, the number 1 most credible UFO incident. For this one, we have to travel back in time to a moment when the world was holding its breath. It's known, for very good reason, as the Battle of Los Angeles.
You really have to put yourself there to get the full picture. It's just a few months after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The entire US West Coast is on a razor's edge, terrified of another attack. And on the night of February 24th, 1942, the air raid sirens start screaming across Los Angeles.
Suddenly, this huge, slow-moving object appears in the sky, caught in the beams of searchlights for thousands of people to see. The military unleashes everything they have. They fired over 1,400 anti-aircraft shells right at this thing. For more than an hour, the sky over LA was just lit up with explosions as the 37th Coast Artillery Brigade threw everything they had at whatever was up there. And the result? After all that, after this massive military barrage, after taking more than 1,400 direct hits from anti-aircraft shells, you want to know how much damage was reported on the object? 0. Absolutely none. The object didn't seem to take any damage at all. It just slowly drifted away and vanished, and no wreckage of any kind was ever found.
So, let's just step back and look at what we've seen here. We started with the powerful mass witness testimony of children in Zimbabwe. Then we saw the physical traces left behind in Rendlesham Forest. We had high-level political corroboration with the Phoenix Lights, hard sensor data from the USS Nimitz, and finally a direct, full-scale military engagement over Los Angeles. Each one is a landmark case, and each one is built on a really powerful form of evidence.
Which leaves us with one big, lingering question, doesn't it? We've looked at 5 completely distinct, deeply strange, and incredibly well-documented events that span decades and continents. So you have to wonder, are these just separate, random, unexplainable events? Or could they be pieces of a single, much larger puzzle that we're only just beginning to see?